Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the weekend AMA, where every weekend I immediately after I get off work and take a shower, I go and do a AMA where we typically start with a question or a topic. In this case, I'm starting with a question, and I happen to have got some cool swag here, so I thought, hey, let's just do a quick unboxing. It'd be kind of fun. And then we go and we answer your questions, provide some mentoring, some direction. I think it's an important thing and something that a lot of people, especially when they're just getting started, really appreciate. And it's kind of cool. We get to have a dialogue, right? So I don't really drink too much, but I have some leftover beer from 4th of July from my 6-pack I only had 2 of. So figured what a better time. So let's start off with the coolest thing, which is our boys over at Dev Mountain sent your boy some swag, which is kind of cool. So I need some new shirts, and I hit him up. I said, hey, man, y'all want to hook a brother up with? Oh, they didn't send a shirt. They just sent a hoodie. Oh, they did send a shirt. Okay, cool. So one of the cooler things about being a YouTuber is sometimes you can get free shit. That's kind of cool. So Dev Mountain hooked me up with some stickers. These are actually pretty cool. I like whoever does their logos, man. So look at that. That's pretty dope. It almost reminds me of like a skateboarding brand from back in the day. So we got some cool stickers, which is pretty cool, pretty sweet. We got, you know me, man. I don't know about you guys, but I like my graphic tees. Dev Mountain sent us some graphic tees. Well, pretty cool. And they know I like my charcoal grays. You know, I wear about 3 colors. I wear white, I wear charcoal gray, and I wear black. All right. And they got me down with it so far. So I appreciate that, Dev Mountain. And of course, by the way, I'm sponsored by Dev Mountain if you guys didn't know this. So just in all fairness, they don't just randomly send me stuff. And then we got hoodie. I appreciate the hoodie, man. You can never have too many hoodies. So I appreciate that swag. Now let's talk about somebody who hasn't sponsored me. Our boys over at Loot Crate, which if you're interested in this, the one that we're opening is, so if you don't know, I like to game a little bit here or there. So I ordered the Loot Crate gaming box. Loot Crate is a monthly subscription box where you essentially get like random knickknacks and t-shirts and goods. I want to say this one's about 18 bucks, 16 bucks, something like that. There's a link in the description if you want to help me out, if you decide to sign up. But this one's all gaming theme. I don't know what the theme is, but let's go ahead and open it up and see. So I like it because I get shirts. Although I've put on some weight and the larges aren't quite fitting. So I need to start hitting the gym a little bit harder than before. So Scott Snyder says, thanks, man, for helping me move forward with the $5 donation. You're welcome, man. I appreciate the support. I appreciate that. Every dollar you guys donate, I'm not wasting it. It all goes into an account. All my YouTube money goes into account for a down payment for a house. So I appreciate that. So let's see what the shirt is. Let's see what we're working with here. Uncle Vlad's walled chicken. I have no idea what this is. I have no idea, but I'll rock it. I don't have any blue shirts, so we'll go with that. I think this is a Castlevania shirt, which is kind of cool. If you've ever played any of the old Castlevania games on PlayStation, the one that I played back in the day was Symphony of the Night. So that was kind of cool. We got some Halo cookie cutters. I'm going to have to give this to the girlfriend and say, look, guess what? I know I'm going on a diet, but we're going to have to make some cookies. It looks like we can make some chips. It looks like we can, what is this? I can't even really tell what this is. So you have a Master Chief helmet. You have an assault rifle, a plasma pistol, and a guilty spark. I don't know, man. Is that the Master Chief right there? I think that is. The Master Chief cookie cutter. Who came up with this idea? I love it. Let's see. Every crate you get a custom gaming pin. So we got our winner chicken dinner gaming pin this month. That's kind of cool. You get a little, you get a poster typically. So you can see here, we got this poster, Skyrim, and on the back it just kind of tells you, hey, this is what you got. The one thing that I always kind of like, it's kind of a catch-22 because like I don't care about the posters after they've been folded. Like I wish they just sent a smaller poster that's been rolled up so I don't have these creeps in them because you can't get them. But if that doesn't bother you, this is pretty badass, right? And what is... We got some BioShock Infinite socks. Look at that. Some socks. Let's check that out. I've only played the first BioShock game. I haven't played any more. So I don't play games too often anymore. I am currently working through XCOM 2 because it's free on the PlayStation Plus. But if you can see that, some socks. BioShock Infinite. All right, cool. And what is this? What do you guys... Is this like a tablecloth? What is this? Oh. This is some sort of... What was the theme for this? Let's check the material. This is a Skyrim. First part to meal, the Nords never settle. So we got our Sky... All right. Let's take a step back for a second. We got our Skyrim. We got our Skyrim apron going on right now. Right here. All right, boys. Chef Dylan is in the kitchen today. You know, it's pretty cool stuff for $15. You can always turn it on or off. But if you're interested, link in the description. But this isn't a gaming channel. This is a coding channel. So I got that stuff in the mail. I thought I'd open it up. It'd be kind of fun. So today's topic that I wanted to start off with is a good one. It's something I've suffered from in the past and something I want to talk about, which is what to learn outside of work. This is something that I think it depends. A couple of caveats to this is it depends where you are at in your career. If you are at the point where you just started a new job, well, guess what? You're learning everything about that workplace. You're learning everything about their stack. You're getting up and going. The next 3 months of your life is dedicated to getting up and going at your current workplace, right? Because you know there is a ramp up period, and it's your job as a developer to ramp up as quickly as possible. So with that being said, and you're not in that situation, you're just a dev learning and growing and working. And my advice is once you feel like you have a good handle on all the technologies at your work, and this is sort of where I find myself at, is I have a pretty good handle about everything I work with. So what do I do? And it's kind of your caveat. It's kind of a when you're like learning outside of work and doing side projects. I want to say your natural inclination is to dive into things you already feel comfortable with, to dive into things that you can do because you want to build those side projects. You want to build this portfolio page, whatever portfolio item, whatever it is, and you don't want it's not that you don't want the learning challenges, but you want to code, right? You want to make that progress. So my advice, and this is something I've recently had to do, is slow down and choose something else because that's how you're going to become more valuable, right? You being more familiar in a different framework is going to be more valuable than another portfolio item in something that you've already worked in. And so, you'll slow. It's kind of like slowing down to speed up, and you have to understand the value that that's going to get you. So, like recently, I've been playing around in React and Vue because I want to add another skill to the resume. I want to build something new and learn something new, and it's frustrating at times because it's like, God, I could do this in Angular like that, right? Like that. But you have to sort of hold yourself back and say, you know what? If I learn something new and build the same portfolio item, I'm getting a lot more value long term, and that's sort of the mindset you have to have with these outside projects, especially in an industry like software development where it's changing so rapidly, especially in the front end. So that's today's little topic. What sort of questions do you guys have for this week? It's been a little bit of a strange week because I had a holiday right in between the week, right? So we had 4th of July. And that kind of threw me off because it felt like Thursday was Monday again, and like I had to go back. I kind of wish we would just work 4th of July and give us Friday off, or they give us the previous Monday off or something. Kind of mess with my flow a little bit. A little bit of what I've been up to, since no one's asking any questions. A little bit about what I've been up to is I've been doing some collaborations with some other channels. Am I taking technical questions or just about topics? You can ask as technical as you can get in a comment on YouTube. You can ask. I'll do my best to answer it. In terms of my life, what I'm going on is I finally manned up and I weighed myself on the scale, and I am the heaviest I've ever been in my life at a $195. I'm 6 foot, and so it's not really the number that bothers me, but it is the gut and the unhealthiness. So tomorrow, my complex as a gym will be day 1 of probably, I don't know, the next year of just getting back in shape. So doing that, ready, excited. I've been already slowly changing up my diet, so that's been kind of fun. And we're gonna get a little more serious with that. But starting to get back healthy again. And that will probably take away from my morning coding time, which is unfortunate. I've also been working on the channel as always. So I have a nice SAS tutorial coming out, and I have a CSS tutorial coming out. I have the next comments, Code Like a Pro comment section coming out. I have a couple topic videos. One is going to be talking about my first impressions of Vue.js. Another is going to be a Vue.js tutorial in about 2-3 weeks when I feel a little bit more comfortable with it. I'm familiar with all the foundation aspects of it, all the stuff that you would expect in an introduction tutorial. But so far so good. But yeah. What are your thoughts on IT project manager and program manager? So, a good project manager is excellent. A bad project manager is kind of like, God, I feel like you're just getting a paycheck. It's kind of strange. I would say, by and large, the point of a project manager is to get developer answers and to move and to set expectations for what is happening. And a lot of times it's a very hard job, and it somewhat goes unappreciated by developers, because we don't have to go most of the time to the stakeholders and tell them why it's late, tell them why they don't get the features they do. The BA does, or the project manager does. They have to go and get yelled at. That's not to say you're not going to get yelled at as a developer, but it is one of those items where it's a more of a rough career than you thought. A lot of project managers are never been devs. I will say that if you were a dev and you went into project management, it'll probably be an easy transition, really, because you have that insight and you have that sort of experience to be able to talk the language. Probably the hardest part with project managers is getting familiar. Or the hardest part is being able to explain to being able to not be technical, dealing with non-technical project managers. So that's why project managers are so that are technical are so in demand. It is one of those things where sometimes people go into development and they like it, but they don't love it. And sometimes they transition into those roles and they can be very helpful. And it's hard, right? Development is a full-time job inside and outside of work, it feels like. And I truly do think you have to love being a developer to be a top tier developer. And even if you're just a okay developer, some people don't have that in them. They would rather be the best project manager they could be because they love it than to be an okay developer. And that's fine. It's not for everybody, but that's sort of my thoughts on project management, I guess. I don't need code, but what would the idea be behind checking to see if a class has an HTML element? How would you write the spec? So I don't know if you could do, I guess you could. So essentially what you would do is you would say you would use a selector like you would in JavaScript, because Jasmine is sort of a wrapper for JavaScript at the end of the day. And it's a JS file or a TS file. And what you would do is you would target it, right? So you'd say document.getElement or query it, and you would target that element, and then you would check using JavaScript or Angular, TypeScript, whatever framework you're working within. Does it have that class? You would do there's a native JavaScript element method called like has class or contains class. I don't remember the exact method, and you could check that way. And the reason you would do that is, perhaps we need to make sure that it does have that class or the whole thing doesn't render properly. I typically would never go that far. I'm more so when I do my JavaScript testing, it's more about going and testing the logic, testing the methods, not necessarily testing the UI. So I try to abstract as much logic from the UI into the controller as possible. You like the Jasmine TLDR? I'm glad, man. What do you like better, React or Vue? I tend to like Vue a little bit better. It's a much more simplistic. It reminds me so much of Angular 1 that it's very familiar, and it's very simplistic in that matter. Is there a plugin for Visual Studio so I don't need to make a separate folder for SCSS? You don't have to make a separate folder for SCSS. If you watch my Sass video coming out soon, you'll see how you might do that. Can you learn multiple languages at the same time? You can. I don't recommend it. I think there's no reason for you to move on to multiple languages until you have your first dev job. That's my personal thoughts. Webpack is good to know, but Webpack is one of those things where it's just kind of a build tool. Once you set it up, you're done. It's not something I'd spend too much time. Razor pages are sort of an old school C#.NET front end aspect. They've sort of been deprecated, I would say, in terms of the front end. Just finished my apprenticeship last week. I'm currently interviewing 3 companies via connections. Should I apply for more jobs or focus on my current interviews? I would still apply to jobs every day, but that also means that you should still study. It's not one or the other. Never take a one or the other approach in life, guys. Do you see yourself moving into management, or will that be project or program manager? Not in the near future. I like coding, man. I want to knock out tickets. That's what I like to do. I like building features. I like making things better. That's what I like to do, and that's what I want to do. My manager codes right now, but he's in a lot of meetings. And I don't have any problems with meetings, but I'd rather have my time spent coding. And so maybe 5 years from now, I have side projects outside of work where all that coding is filling my fun, exciting times, and I'm more okay with management. I'm still too early into my career for management positions. But 5 years from now, 6 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, who knows? That may be exactly what I want. Yeah. I don't know anything about CodeIgniter. Sorry, man. What's going on, Kevin? Hey, Dylan, what do you think about doing a bootcamp just to form connections, have some sort of certification on your resume? I'm having trouble making the jump from self-taught to working developer. Well, it's something that can happen. You definitely will be a better developer going to a bootcamp to get started. And you will make some connections, but really at the end of the day, it's all about so it sounds like you're trying to find a way to get around hard work. And that's not to say that you're not working hard, but when you graduate that boot camp, that certification isn't going to do anything on your resume. It's going to be about upping your skills and, creating a better portfolio, being a unique candidate, working on those communication skills. That's really what's going to make you stand out. And, upping those skills is part of the equation and being able to network a little bit, but it's almost like you're trying to find a way to boost yourself up, and that's fine. But if you're having trouble learning, it's one thing to go to boot camp. But if you're saying, hey, I'm actually an excellent developer, I just can't get a job and I'm going to go to boot camp because of it, I think you might be misunderstanding what's going to actually happen here. And you may just end up spending $10K and be disappointed. Any tips for becoming a better Angular dev? Yeah, understand all aspects of it. Understand sort of dependency injection. Understand what it means to have a separation of concerns, how to create directives, components, services, pipes. Create all those individually. Don't just use them. Create your own pipes. Create your own directives. These are all things that you can do, and I encourage you to do. I started a web dev internship this week. So much I need to learn. Yeah, man. That's good. That's good though. It means you're gonna have fun. Would it be a good idea to apply jobs while attending a bootcamp, or would that be a waste of time starting coding bootcamp on Monday? I mean, I think your focus, especially when going into a coding bootcamp, should be so incredibly just about learning and diving into it. Where's my Angular course? It's in the description down below. If you see it, you'll see the stuff on there. All my courses are in the description down below of the video. With the coupon codes and everything. But I think your time needs to be so focused on learning that the idea of you going to a boot camp shouldn't even be something or you filling out job apps until maybe the last week or two. It shouldn't even remotely be something you start thinking about. I think it needs to be 100% on learning and putting the time in, because a boot camp, you're expected to put 60, 80-hour weeks in. Any advice for going the front end route? Yes. Build projects, code every day, 3 to 4 hours, bare minimum. That's my advice. Be unique, put the work in. It's going to be hard. All this is hard, man. How do you feel about learning like a Coursera, edX, and Lynda, which are more higher education sites? I don't consider them higher education sites unless they get you bachelor degrees at the end. To me, they're just more course sites, really, at the end of the day, that just come from people who sort of like the college outline better than anything else, which I guess I have a distaste for them. If they were free or they were low cost, like a Udemy course, or in that range, and you could earn a degree off it, I might appreciate it a little bit more. Yeah, live and breathe code is a great way of putting about it. The way that I kind of put it is this way, man. If you guys are unemployed and you're not coding 40 hours a week, you're not keeping up with an employed person like me, and I put another 20 hours of actual coding in, and maybe 30, 40 if you count everything I do, right? I read books. I work on the YouTube channel, all these sort of side projects. You have to keep up with guys like me, right? Who already have a job, who are continuing to learn outside of work. And if you can, you're in a great spot. Is there a part 5 to the Angular 5 course I see here, Dylan? No, not yet. So there's 2 parts. So both courses, so there's not a major difference between Angular 4, 5, and 6. So you don't really need to worry about that. One's a cryptocurrency API project, and the other is a personal portfolio type project. So both are great entry-level projects. How was my week? It was good, man. It was a little bit strange. I've actually been kind of relaxing a little bit. I don't normally. My girlfriend's been telling me that I look a little too stressed out, and it's starting to affect my mood. So I've been playing some video games, which is like I've played more video games the last 2 weeks than I've probably played in the last year. And it's I've been playing. I probably put like 15 hours into what's that game? XCOM 2. It's free on PlayStation Plus right now. I'm loving it. It's a strategy, sort of micro macro game, tactical strategy game. So that's been a lot of fun. I just finished my I just finished the book Clean Code. That's another video coming out, by the way. Clean Code. And I have a book review coming out. If you're interested, there's a link in the description. You can check it out. Yeah, I also downloaded Black Ops 3. You seem like you would like to play Skyrim. I've played Skyrim a little bit here or there. Yeah, I'm ready for the Kingdom Hearts remake, man. Are you moving into back-end development anytime soon? So for a while, I was learning some C# and .NET in my current work. Yeah. And then I moved into a very front-end heavy project, and I haven't really had a chance to. They needed the front end guys to sort of step up and mentor some of the back end guys who jumped into the front end as well, and that's sort of been a little bit of what I've been doing lately, and that's been my life for like the last 3 months. So I was diving into the back end, and my previous role I did back end. So it's been a little bit rough. What's your workout plan / strategy? So my current strategy is one, to control my diet, right? So you have to control your diet as much as you work out. In the mornings is when so every morning I wake up about 6:30, and I spend about 1.5 to 2 hours working on stuff before work. It depends on how early I wake up. So if I wake up at 6:30, I don't wake up late. I wake up actually earlier before 6:30 sometimes. And so my game plan currently is go and work out. And more so, instead of focusing on the body, these first 2 weeks is just about creating the habit, going and spending 45 minutes 5 days a week. That's sort of the path that I'm trying to go down. Is okay for the next 2 weeks, 5 days a week. Maybe I'll go 2, take a break, 2, and then 1, break, then 1, or something like that. I'm going to focus on just getting there and getting into the motion, getting into the habit of going to the gym, of working out, of getting better, and spending 45 minutes to start. That's my game plan. And I'll probably do that for the first 2 to 4 weeks. And at the end of 1 month of sort of prepping myself to get back in shape, because I am out of shape. I have pre-workout too, so I'm definitely going to be using some pre-workout. I am out of shape. I know this. I've been in shape before, and I know how I understand how bad it's going to suck to get back in shape. So I'm going to first just work. It's more like a general workout strategy of building the habits, doing a little bit of cardio, doing a little bit of lifting, and 2, 3, 4 weeks in, start thinking about the workout plan, these schedules. That is what my game plan is right now. Because I mean, that's going to be the hardest part is, hey, instead of waking up, I'm showering and hopping on a computer, which is very natural to me. I need to go, and I have to wake up, sort of mentally, physically, walk my ass down to the gym, and you know what? Just start doing lifting, some jogging. So that's sort of my strategy. It's just building the habit for the first couple weeks, and after that, we can get a little bit more technical about what the body type is, how I want to look, what it is, what my goals are to accomplish. But for right now, it's just, hey, let's get there. Let's get there and put in energy. Do I think developing applications in Angular JS is a good thing? If you mean Angular 2 plus, yes. Angular 1, no. I've turned down roles because they've been working in Angular 1. Because I don't want to work with Angular 1's been deprecated and is outdated, and I would never want to go backwards with tech. I only want to go forwards. So I've had good opportunities at roles where, hey, we're interested in you, and it's like, okay, well, what's your stack in the Angular 1? And it's like, I don't care if you're a Fortune 500 company. I just can't do it. An app in your town that is linked to buses? I don't know. I haven't taken the bus since I was like 12. Yeah, I never. Here's the thing, guys. If you want to stay relevant and you want to make good money, that's not to say they can't make. Someone's got to do the outdated tech, but ain't gonna be me. How long should I practice on free code camp? As long as you need to. Should just be one of many. Can you do a project using a geo API? I did my. I've done some of the weather API ones that uses the geolocation API. I feel web programming is not for me. Do you think Internet of Things programming will grow. Yeah, man, I think it's an exploding space. I will say that I think you're going to find that a lot of that stuff sort of overlaps. And so you might want to get comfortable with like the HTML, CSS, JavaScript aspect of things as well. I'm not saying you have to be as proficient as a front end dev, but I think it's a good skill to have. And here's the thing, man. If you have a very specific interest in that, go after it. Dive in. Become that guy who's like, look, man, I'm an IoT guy. All right. Let me show you my 5 Raspberry Pi projects. They're baller. All right. Like, be that guy. Be that, because there are spaces in each industry that I'm not an Internet of Things, guys. If you were to ask me, I might know more than you in general about software development. But if you were just starting out and your focus was on the Internet of Things, Raspberry Pi, Arduino, you're more qualified than I am. That's a fact. And so go after that if that's what you want. You know, I can't recommend anyone an Android app. Here's the thing, guys. I don't code Android, so I don't watch any Android channels. If I was gonna make a mobile app, I'd probably do some sort of hybrid app and go from there. Because that would be, you know, that would work for me. Oh, James with the $5 donation. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. You guys have bought 2 bricks from my house for the $10. Do your 5 ways to learn how not to code videos do better than your others? No, not really. They do as good or worse. You know, the videos that take the longest always do the worst. So like my tutorials, I enjoy doing them because I learn and it's good, right? So like my HTML tutorial got 940 views. My Code Like a Pro got 1,000. That's all, you know, these are all right. But like my 10-minute video where I filmed a video talking why we need to move on from Bootstrap has like 2.5 times that for both. So it just kind of depends. Did I ever build the free Code Camp Voters app? Yeah, a while back. I don't have the code anymore though. I never put it on GitHub, and it was on my old PC, so it's gone now. But I did build it. I'm having a very hard time learning JavaScript or even what to do with it. Even if I build something following a tutorial, I have no clue what's going on. You're probably just not putting enough time in, man. Expect to put 3 to 4 hours a day into it, you know, for months upon months upon months. That's the type of dedication it's really going to take to learn software development. I would also say, if you can, start going to meetups and trying to ask questions of devs, because something that, like topics you may be struggling with, a dev in person for over 5 or 10 minutes may be able to explain it to you, and things will start clicking. Yeah, it's like my girlfriend's right now trying to learn to code again, and it's you know, it's strange seeing somebody so early on struggling through things, and you want to help, right? And luckily she has access to me and she doesn't have to struggle all the way, but also at the same time it's almost a crutch, right? So off topic, what's your pick for Stipe versus DC fight this week? I gotta go with Stipe, man. I'm not saying DC is not going to win, but if you know, if I had to choose, I think Stipe just beats him. That's just, I don't know. Stipe is not like your typical slow heavyweight. If he was like a slow sort of heavyweight, I would say that maybe not so much. You know, it's not really the weight, but I think because he is I think because of his type of style, he's going to do fine. So that's my opinion on the matter. I'm not hating on DC. DC's going up in weight to fight a guy who's the longest reigning heavyweight champion in UFC history. And he's fast. He's fast for heavyweight. He's agile. He's sort of well-rounded all the way around. I think Stipe is going to win by either knockout or decision. If I had to choose, I would say decision. I like Daniel Cormier. I'll admit that he used to annoy me a little bit, but I like him now. After he lost to John Jones, I felt bad for the guy, and I like him now. He's a good guy. You think DC goes to decision? DC, get out of here, dude. DC by decision. I don't know, man. You guys might be right, but I think not. I don't know. I think what could happen is Stipe could do exactly what he did to Francis Ngannou and just sort of sit on him and weather the storm of the takedowns in this case instead of the punching, and then overcome Daniel. That's my thing. Do I get paid for the videos I do on Scrimba? Yes, I do. I've done 3 courses for Scrimba at this point. Speaking of that, hello, comrade. You guys just reminded me. I'm emailing him now about something. Yeah, it could go either way though. I'm definitely gonna be watching it tomorrow night. I'm kind of bummed that I'm more excited for Francis Ngannou and not Derek Brunson, the Black Beast as he goes by, fighting than I am the main event. I was excited for the Max Holloway fight, but unfortunately that fell off the card. But yeah, I'll have that on like one of the screens while I'm working away. Have I gotten a dog yet? No, I'll get a dog. I'll get a dog. Yeah, Derek Lewis. Thank you. I'll get a dog when we buy a house. We have 3 cats right now in an apartment. When I buy a house, I'll buy. And I'll get a dog. Then for April, she wants a dog. How long do you reckon it'll take you to hit 100,000 subs? I'm getting anywhere from 2,250 to 2,500 subs a month. So if I gain, let's just say 2,500 for 12 months, that's about, what is that? 5,000 every 6, 5,000 every 2 times 6, about 30,000 a year. So 2 years at my current rate, around there. How would you celebrate? I've already said that I will be giving away some stuff. I think I said I was going to give away 2 4K monitors to you guys for the support when I hit 100K. If I remember correctly, someone's going to pull it up on and spam me with it when I get there. But I'll probably I do, of course, give away some stuff to say thank you. I'll also probably do an announcement video when I get my plaque. Because it'll have been a journey. 2 years from now means I've started YouTube for 5 years. That's a long, grindy side project. It takes a lot of hard work to get there, a lot of dedication. And it'll be one of those moments where it's not about celebrating, but it's about reflecting. And it'll be one of those moments in my life, I think, where I'll be proud of myself. I don't need other people to be proud of me. That's great. But I'll be proud of myself because it's something I've accomplished. It's something I've been working towards. And I'll take a moment to reflect on that, and everything is taken to get there. So that's sort of how I'll celebrate, I guess, or what will happen, I suppose. What's your day like in a nutshell? It kind of depends, but typically, if you're working in an agile environment, you're doing stand-ups where everyone's sort of talking about what they worked on, if they need any help. Then they are, you're doing pull requests, code reviews, you're doing your own coding. Sometimes you're going to meetings, gathering requirements on occasion. If the business analyst is having trouble communicating that and what you're trying to ask. So what language do you find the most tricky to get your head around? To be honest, probably CSS would be the hardest part. CSS is very simple for the bulk of it, but that last 10% can get very complex very quickly. And it's something I've gotten much better with in recent times. And I'm very happy that I have. Is it fair to say that there is more demand for mid to senior level devs? Yes, there is. That it's then imperative for those devs to be more advanced projects in their portfolio. Absolutely. Everything about that is true. But yeah, then you do your coding, your takes, some pair programming, code reviews, all that sort of stuff. Saw your video with Eric. He says he has 10 years of experience coding, but makes around the same as you. He said that? I mean, I don't know what he gets paid, but if he was getting paid what I'm getting paid in 10 years, I'd be upset with myself. Yeah, so I don't know what he said he gets paid. I don't even remember him telling me, but I'm sure if we discussed it, I've talked about what I make. I don't mind. Oh no, I'm sure he has 10 years experience. I'm more so talking about the pay. What was your question, Jeff? I didn't see it, man. How often do you refactor code you wrote at work? All the time. So one of the things that separates a developer, just a developer, to a good developer, the next tier developer, is it's more than just about making the code run. So a lot of times what your typical developer will do is your code will run and then, all right, it runs, baby, ship it and submit a pull request. I immediately go and I refactor my code every single time. I look at it, I see what we can do better. That's my first thing after I get it working. How can we make it better? Refactor it every single time. When I'm in a new project and I'm touching something, I follow the Boy Scout rule. I leave it better than it was before. I find ways on how to improve it. And not like, oh, I'm just trying to change shit to change shit. I go and see how I can make it better, right? How can we make it better? That's it. So that is how I approach it. So I refactor code daily. Wouldn't know if you should use WordPress and how you should code from scratch. I mean, you should probably, when freelancing, you should do whatever your client wants, whatever money will be the best. It all depends. If you don't have time to code something from scratch because the money's not there, then yeah, you should use WordPress. Small businesses aren't going to have a lot of money, so they're probably going to use WordPress. How do you deal with seeing professional code that isn't clean or refactored? Well, one, in the code review process, I try and state why I think we should change this code and try to better people's standards, as well as be open to that, right? I need to learn how to become better as well, right? So I don't have all the answers. I want to become better, and I need to be open-minded for that. So you take the pull review process of that, as well as pair programming, and you try to instill, hey, why I think this is better. They may not always take it, but you do. When you're working in the code, it's just a matter of refactoring it, making it better, understanding it. There's a lot of things that you can do that's not very complex to make code much cleaner. If you see a floating, and this is kind of what the Code Like a Pro series is, if you see a floating magic number, change that. Find out what it is and change it and make it more readable. So, and test it. If it's not tested, I'm writing some tests for you. You better believe it. How long did you code before you started applying? What do you know without having to reference books all the time? So I didn't really start reading books after I had a job, so you don't have to worry about that. It's more about online documentation. Asking because I've been doing this for 6 months and still have to look at books. I don't know. It was more than 6 months. So I put about 9 full months in after I dropped out of my CS program and had an internship. So whatever that time is. Is refactoring while you're coding a bad habit, or should you finish first? I don't think it's a bad habit. I think if you're refactoring anytime, your goal as a developer should always be to get better, not just to learn new things. It's to get better and be more professional and be able to write cleaner, more maintainable code. I don't follow the NFL. Does giving feedback on other people's code not open up possibilities for dev beefs? Yeah, I mean, if you're a jerk about it, yeah. It's more like suggestions, like, hey, what do you think about doing this way because this is why? And you may find out that they're like, no, we're doing it this way because this is why. A lot of times people are very open to it because, you're a team, right? You want everyone to succeed, everyone to get better. But if you're like, hey, this code is dog shit, yeah, I might not take that the best way, right? But if you say, hey, I think we shouldn't leave this magic string in here because when we come back a year from now, we may not remember that 17,640,000, etc., is every millisecond in a year. So why don't we instead store it in a variable called const milliseconds in a year, and now it's readable and we understand this no matter what time it is that we're in the code, right? Because you write code not only to deliver features, but you need to have the mentality of I'm writing the code. I'm writing the code so that I can go back later and understand it quicker, and someone else who may need to maintain it can understand it quicker. I don't know what you mean by functions compose. Sorry, man. What is functions compose? Function composition? It seems to be a Java thing. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what function compose is. Have I ever used Mocha? No. I typically do my tests in Jasmine. What written code are you most proud of? I don't know, man. I feel like my code in the last year has gotten so better that it's like every iteration is fun. Like, I don't know. I've gotten really good with CSS and CSS Grid, and and Sass. I've just been loving the like UI aspect of it lately. Like this last week I built a custom tabs component that also is a accordion in mobile. I thought that was kind of cool. So I enjoyed that. A function inside another function, like closure, like callback function. Most proud of though. I mean, I'm most proud of is my coding channel. I really enjoyed this dynamic spas application that I worked on. That's another good one. Reporting spa, I should say. Observables TLDR. I could dive into observables. Do you think a TLDR that just talks about prototypical inheritance and classes would be worth doing? I think the TLDR I did where I talked about modern JavaScript dives into classes and things like that. I think that you should just watch that because that's pretty much what you're asking. Where would you draw the line on code requested by a client? I don't need more context than that. Everything Angular can do, Vue can do better. I don't know about that. Vue can do a lot of things much simpler. That's for sure. You know, Vue has a much easier learning curve and it's much more simplistic. Got any non-tech hobbies? Maybe a little bit of gaming. That's about it. Nothing really, man. I mean, really, I'm a workhorse, man. I read books about software. I build projects, software related. I have a YouTube channel that's software related, and I work. I ain't got much other time left. I do go see movies though. I see like all the Marvel movies. Damn, son, is that our boy Rick K? Rick K Garcia, son. That hair is fresh. Hey, I'm growing it out. Look at these sideburns, son. Look at this. Look at that. We twist that up. Look at that. We growing it out. I'm letting it all hang out. There's a report in Wall Street Journal that states more people are quitting their jobs because of the good economy and more money. Has anyone in your current job left for more money? They've left for more money at another company, not just to be unemployed. You ever order Domino's pizza? Yeah. Have I ever used Grunt? No, I don't think so. The most difficult language I've learned, I think I said earlier, was like CSS. I know it doesn't necessarily count in language in the traditional sense, but there's so many moving parts with CSS. And I haven't really found a great course that sits it down and breaks it out so that you can understand it completely. Dennis White with a $5 donation. Thank you, man. I wish you guys would add comments as well so I could answer this. I feel so bad when you donate and don't say anything. But don't let that stop you from donating if you have nothing to say. Oh, ever order anything via the API? I mean, every time I order a pizza, it uses their API. I don't do it through Postman or anything like that. Linux Mint for web dev? I don't know anything about Linux, man. Yeah, this weekend I'll be spending building like this morning. What I did was I built the tribute page for Free Code Camp in Vue just for fun. I'm probably going to build a couple more projects, and I'll build my portfolio site. Would you guys like that as a video? I don't know if I wasn't really sure if I should do a video on it. Where, you know, hey, I just built a random tribute page, an introduction project to Vue. If you're interested in it, I'll do it. What's my PC? I'll show you my setup real quick if you want. So we got the nothing really impressive here. We got 4K 28-inch monitors. You see that? Then we have 32 gigs RAM. It's a GTX 1080 Ti there. And then SSD, all that good stuff. And a AMD Threadripper. Is it 16 core processor if I remember correctly? Yeah. I balled out on the computer setup, guys. I don't spend money on most things, but when it comes to my setup, and then we got the standing desk and whatnot. I ain't got that Traversy Media set up. I don't know if any of you guys watched his video the other day. He did his the dude's got 3 computer desks. No joke. He's like, I was like, I thought I was balling hard, right? I was like, yeah, man, I got the nice one set up. Brad's like, hold my beer. All right. And Brad's like, I got 3. Brad's office has 3 desks going on. These are 3 different setups. It's like, bro, calm down. All right. You don't need, look, Brad, look, man. If I see a 4th desk in the next desk setup, you're just showing off. All right. You're just showing off. 3 computers, Brad? You need 3? Come on, man. You don't need all 3. You just like, yo, man, I'm about to flex on these fools. These fools are getting flexed on right now. I was like, Brad, you don't need to flex that hard. You could stop at 2 computers. Have some humility, Brad. Oh my goodness. I'm just giving a hard time, but it was a beautiful setup. Yeah, and then the 4th station, he's like, yeah, don't worry about the DJ station over here with the laptop over it. Brad's flexing on us all, dude. Good for him though. Good for Brad, man. That guy's changing the coding game, man. He really is. He's put out so much great content for aspiring developers. I wish him all the success in the world, and that everything he has, that man has earned. God bless him. All right. He definitely flexed on us, though. He's such a humble guy too. So like, I appreciate it. We should do all MTV Cribs YouTube dev style. Oh man, maybe one day if the channel like takes off, I'll just hit up all you guys and be like, yo man, let me come stay at your house for 2 days. We're gonna film some videos and travel to everyone's houses, right? Yeah, man. On that note, guys, I'm getting kind of hungry. I gotta have dinner. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. If you're interested in any of my courses, they're in the description below, as well as some books I recommend that I think everybody should read. And of course, if you like the Loot Crate box, you can help me out and get me a little $5 referral fee and check it out and save some money yourself. And of course, thank you to our boys over at Dev Mountain who sent me some swag. I appreciate that. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. This weekend, I will be spending more time diving into Vue, working on some YouTube videos, all that good stuff. It's been fun. And of course, I'll see you next Friday where we'll do another weekend AMA just like this. Bye, guys.